Hi, everyone. Welcome to this weekly class on my Speakeasy channel. If you don't know me, my name is Anna Olive, and I am the founder and head coach of Speakeasy, which is an online program to help you unblock your English and feel more confident, um, realize that you know a lot more English than you realize, and you don't need to have perfect grammar and know all the words in the vocabulary to be able to speak English. So today is we're going to start phase of Speakeasy because I just finished a program with 5 wonderful students. So if you guys are there, thanks for being here. Thanks for going through the program. You were simply amazing. All 5 of you. I am so happy, so proud of you, proud of being your coach, even though, this is just a word. What I mean is I'm helping you on your path to learning English, but in the end, you are the one really, really learning, doing the learning. So I hope you feel proud of yourself, of all your progress, everything that you've done so far. You've spoken to native speakers, you've spoken to me, um, you've spoken. You see, make mistakes too. So don't worry about making mistakes because they do happen, no matter how fluent you are, native speakers also make mistakes. So don't worry about making mistakes. Just, focus on being the best learner you can be, and being curious. If anything that I wanted to teach you through the program is for you to find fun ways to learn English, and don't worry about making mistakes or understanding everything. Everything is part of the process of learning a language. And just feel proud because today you can speak and you're closer to, this fluency of speaking everything because you're already fluent. You can understand me, you can speak to me, we can exchange ideas in a different language. So I just want you to realize that you are fluent. So awesome. Today I'm going to go over a few different things. It's not going to be a very long class. So if you don't know the program that I'm talking about, this is the program that I offer with Speakeasy. I'm going to put my website down here if you are curious to know more about it. But I will be speaking more about the program in the next couple of weeks. And if you are interested in learning more, we can also talk and have a coaching call. So for today, what I want to talk to you guys about is about what's next for my students. You guys are watching this, and a little bit about what kind of tribe, what kind of students I'm looking for. So, if you're watching this, you might be interested in the program, but the program might be for you, but it might not be for you. So I will be talking about the Speakeasy tribe. So the kind of people that I want joining the program and this project. So yeah, and then at the end, I'm going to, in the last part will be 5 common mistakes that Brazilians make. And I hope that this is useful for you. I'm going to leave a lot of resources on the description after we finish this live. I'm going to give you my favorite resources to learn about those common mistakes. So let's get started. Okay, give me 1 second. Take a moment to also tell me, say hi on the comments. If you have any questions, also feel free to write on the comments on YouTube. I'm opening my phone right now so I can actually see your comments. So don't be afraid to say hi.
So I can actually.
I'm hearing myself. Okay. Awesome. So yeah, when you guys are there, just say hi. And if you have any questions, also let me know. Okay. Awesome. So let's get this started. Okay, perfect. So let me share my screen with all of you, and then we can get this started. Let me see if I can. No, still not able to show up at the same time as the screen, but that's okay. Whoops, can you guys hear me? Okay. Sorry, I think, yeah, I clicked on something here that muted me. So let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go back and forth like I've been doing in the last few weeks, okay? Perfect. Oopsie. Okay. Present this. So welcome. I hope you're excited for our class today. And today we're going to be talking about the program. Now the program is over, so what's going to happen next? I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be talking about our Speakeasy tribe and the kind of people that I'm trying to attract, and 5 common mistakes that Brazilian speakers make. Okay? It will be a short live today. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so for those of you that are not my students, for my students, hello, welcome. But if you're not one of my students, you must be wondering what is this program I'm talking about. And the program is the Speakeasy. Well, right now it's 4-week Speakeasy program. That's actually 6 weeks, where people go through a big mindset change and a big process of becoming more confident, believing that you can actually speak, and speaking with native speakers, speaking all the time, creating an immersion experience. So that's what the program is. And we just went through 6 weeks of program, and now my students are ready to go off into the world. And I'm so proud of you. I hope that you can keep practicing. So going back to the presentation. Okay, so what I'm expecting you guys to do now, first of all, finish the surveys. I know that this week we sent you a lot of surveys speaking about the resources and everything that we've been through, but I really, really need you to finish those so I can create the personalized program for you. I'm going to be giving you suggestions about what to do in the next following weeks. And I need you to finish the survey so I know what resources you liked more and less. Okay. I also want you to choose which type of conversations you want to do. you want to do. So either free or paid or both. We can do both as well. So yeah, if you haven't decided yet, let me know this week. And if we haven't spoken about it yet, I'm going to be asking you about that in our coaching call. And of course, last thing, I want you to keep practicing. Learning a language is a continuous process. So it doesn't end in 4 weeks. It's not something that in 4 weeks you will magically learn everything about a language. Is something that you will always have to do. Like I've told you guys a million times, I'm still learning English. I've been speaking English for maybe 8 years now, maybe 9 years, and I'm continuously learning. So don't expect to have an end date. Somebody asked me like, "Oh, how long will I take to become, fluent?" First of all 5 of you are already fluent. You can speak English really well. Now, for you to become completely comfortable with the language, that depends. It really depends on your attitude, the amount of practice, how much you expose yourself to the language, because it has to be a continuous process. So you have to keep practicing, keep speaking, and things will become easier. The more you practice, the easier it will become. They say that you need around 10,000 hours to master anything, to become an expert. You don't need to become an expert in English to become confident and be able to speak. So, it depends so much. It's hard to put a number or, an amount of time. So I would say just keep going little by little, day by day, create those opportunities for you to practice. Make learning English fun so you don't want to stop. That's my advice for you. Okay? Awesome. So let me go back to the presentation. Now we're going to speak about our Speakeasy tribe. So people who should join our program. Because for the 5 of you that were in the program, I asked you for referrals, people that you think will enjoy the program. And the program is not for everyone, as you probably noticed. It's intense. It demands a kind of energy and mindset that not everybody has. So congratulations. If you are done with the program now, is because you have those characteristics. So basically what I'm looking for is people who are ready for an intense experience. And as you guys know, my students, the program is pretty intense. It's something that will change the way you see learning a language, something you've never experienced before. So you have to be ready for how intense it is. It's also for action takers. So people that are ready to do things, doers. I'm not looking for people that are full of excuses, that are not ready for the work you're going to have to put in. So I need action takers. I also am looking for people that are open to an unconventional way of learning, because the program is anything but conventional. It's supposed to shake you. It's supposed to kind of take you from your comfort zone and just push you outside of it. So if you want to know, what unconventional way of learning is, yeah, you can ask me or talk to me later. The program is for risk takers. So, with the 5 of you that just went through the program, you guys didn't know exactly what the program was, or even though I explained to you, you didn't actually knew what you were going into. So you are a risk taker. So congratulations, you took this risk, and now you're coming out in the other end of things, knowing a lot more English and just being a new learner. People that like to work on themselves, not people that just, are pessimists, or they just think that life is not fair. Or I don't know, they just think that they didn't have the right opportunities, Oh, if they had studied when they were young, you didn't. You cannot change that, but you can change what you do now, the present. So I want people that like to work on themselves. If you know people with these characteristics, send them my way. People that are ready to drop all the excuses, not having enough time, not having enough money, not having enough energy. Those are excuses. Those things are there. There are always possibilities for everything. So if you choose not to have excuses anymore, that's also going to facilitate your learning journey. Ready to work hard, like I said, very intense experience. Ready to be challenged. So my students can say that the program will definitely challenge you. And you guys, now that we're done with the program, I hope that you are ready to keep the challenge on. Find new ways to be challenged. Being challenged, if video, maybe making a video is something challenging for you, do that. Presenting yourself with challenges is the best way to learn and grow. So, now a little comparison, this is what I just told you guys about. People that have all these characteristics are the ones that I'm looking for. Opposed to, people that don't have enough time or energy. And again, like you guys learned, having enough time is just a matter of priority. If you have your priorities set straight, if English is a priority in your life, you're going to find time. So passive learners are the learners that are expecting, a teacher or an English school to do all the work for them. That's not how it works. The work for you to speak a new language, you have to put in the work. People that need a very structured classroom environment, they're also not going to be happy with the program because it's very unconventional, very different, and you need to work hard. So people who want to stay in their comfort zones are definitely not the profile I'm looking for. And, people that are okay with being where they are now, they don't want to improve. That's definitely not what I'm looking for. Complainers, not at all. People that give up easily and that want to feel comfortable. This program is learning to feel comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. So feeling uncomfortable is just such an important step of the learning journey because you're doing something new. And every time you do something new, you're going to feel uncomfortable. So I wrote a little manifesto that I wanted to share with you guys about what is to be a speakeasy speaker, a speakeasy member of our tribe. And basically, being a speaker doesn't require you to have a special gift or skill. You don't have to be good with languages to be a speaker. All you need is curiosity, treating that language as a new territory to be discovered, a world full of possibilities, a new hobby that you want to spend time with any chance you get. When you find the fun in language learning, there's nothing that will stop you. Neither time nor energy will be excuses to stop you from getting closer to your goal. And actually, the manifesto, okay, let me go back. I think the manifesto, yeah, it's broken down. Let me change this order here so you guys understand what we are doing. Okay, we'll go back to the manifesto. First, I want to talk about the power statement. And what I mean about being a speaker. So, being a speaker is a choice. Today, you can wake up and choose the excuses or recommit yourself to being a speaker. So instead of being a student, like, oh, I'm just learning English, I'm just, a student of English, you can just, you can declare yourself as a speaker, as an English speaker. And what would a speaker do today? If you already spoke English, what would you do today? Would you, just watch the news in English? Would you watch videos? How would they explore the language if you're already a speaker, And would time or energy be an excuse not to learn something new? That's the biggest question here. So a little motto for you, you can put it in a post-it, put it in your mirror, leave it by your desk, by your computer, and you can say that to yourself every day. I am a speaker of English, and today is a new opportunity to learn something new and learn new ways with people. Because learning a language in the end is just a new way to connect with someone. You're going to be able to speak to people you were not able to speak to before. So it's a powerful, powerful thing to be a speaker of another language. So this can seem silly, you guys, but this is very powerful. These power statements, the manifesto, they're very powerful ways for you to change the way you see yourself and change your attitude. So again, the manifesto, I'm going to read it again, at least you get some practice. Try to read it with me if you're there. So being a speaker doesn't require you to have a special gift or skill. You don't have to be with languages to be a speaker. All you need is curiosity, treating that language as a new territory to be discovered, a world full of possibilities, a new hobby that you want to spend time with any chance you get. When you find the fun in language learning, there's nothing that will stop you. Neither time nor energy will be excuses to stop you from getting closer to your goal. So, have you ever said that to yourself or heard somebody saying, "Oh, I'm not really good with languages. I'm not really good with English." That is such a limiting statement. It's such a limiting thing for you to say because we are all good with languages. If you speak one language, no matter what language it means that you are good with languages. So don't sell yourself short. Don't, limit yourself before you even try. For you guys that have gone through the program, you are a speaker. I hope that you put this motto in your mirror and say it to yourself every single day because you are a speaker of English. So congratulations. And continuing, a speaker knows that they don't have to be perfect to be fluent. Fluency is much bigger than having perfect grammar. Talking to people in their language is the same as connecting to their soul. So learning a new language compares to a spiritual practice. And I know I'm getting all like, with this spiritual thing, but what I'm trying to say, and I'm going to go back to the video here. What I'm trying to say is that when you can speak, when you understand somebody else's language, you understand how they see the world. You can connect with them in a very particular way. So it's different when things are translated or, when you can't talk to someone, but when you start being able to talk to someone in their first language, it is actually a very amazing experience. You can connect to people in a very different way. So I hope that that you understand that learning a language is not just learning a set of skills. It's actually learning how other people see the world. So that's pretty amazing. That's what excites me about learning languages. That's why I love learning languages. And I hope that, you can find these experience, find the love for languages, find the excitement, because it is exciting. It is very exciting. So awesome. Oh, hello, Guilherme and Fernanda. Good to have you there. I'm glad that you guys like it. And okay, I'm gonna go back to the screen. Whoops. Perfect. So now let's go to dive straight into the 5 common mistakes that Brazilians make in English. So, mistake number 1, forgetting to add the to between verbs. So, some examples there. I need to study. So sometimes people say, I need study, I need, or, I want to go to Miami. You need to add this to between the 2 verbs. Every time you have, well, not every time, but a lot of times you have 2 verbs, you're going to add the to. My daughter needs to do her homework. So don't forget the to between the verbs. Now, mistake number 2, forgetting to put verbs in the past. And that's ed versus irregular verbs. So I know that irregular verbs in English can be challenging. You have to basically memorize. I don't see any other way to learn the verbs besides memorizing irregular verbs. So I would say use your apps to learn. Use Quizlet, use Anki. And, anything this week, to use the flash apps. Try to learn them. Try to make new flashcards, and maybe practice some irregular verbs, especially the ones that are the most common ones. And then, if you memorize a bunch of very important irregular verbs, you know that the rest will have ed at the end. Then you have some rules for adding the ed in the end, but yeah, like sometimes you have to double the consonants. Those are little rules that are more important for writing than speaking. What is important for speaking is actually the pronunciation of the verbs ending in ed, which Brazilian learners also get it wrong a lot of the times, because Brazilians, Portuguese is written exactly how it's pronounced. So we always want to see the words written down, and we want to say them in the same way. So if you see those 3 words ending in ed, maybe try to say them out loud. Try to say them out loud. Maybe you would say something like needed, talked, use it. Isn't that right? You want to say all the letters in those words, and you want to say them in the same way. But that's the thing. English is not like that. English, you're going to have different pronunciations, even though the words, are written with ed in the end. So all 3 of those words, the ed is pronounced differently. So for the first one, need, when you add the ed, it's going to become needed. Needed. You're adding an extra syllable. So you're going to say needed. And I think that's the easiest one, because as Brazilians, we tend to put this extra vowel, needed. So I think that's the easiest. But then we go to a word like talk, and when you add the ed, you're going to say talked, talked, talked. Do you hear the last sound? It's not a D, it's a T, talked. I'm not saying talked. You see? Talked. Not saying that. I'm saying talked. Do you notice the difference? Try to say it with me. Talked. So that's another way to pronounce verbs, regular verbs in the past. And the last one is used. The same thing, you're not pronouncing the E very much. So it's talked and used. But used, you're going to pronounce the D, not as a T, as a D. So used. You see the difference? Used, did, talked. So here's a chart because, charts are nice. So as you can see here, the pronunciation of words ending in ed depends on the final consonant sound. It all depends on the final sound. So for the sounds ended in T and D, you're going to add that extra syllable. You're going to say wanted, needed. You see that extra syllable. Those are only 4 words ending in T and D, like you can see here. Here are the endings, okay? So for the T sound without the E, which is voiceless, you can here. Every time a word ends with you're going to put the T sound. So instead of helped, which is what we tend to say, helped, you're going to say helped. You see, there's no E and there's a T. So instead of the wrong way, looked, no, you're not going to say looked. You're going to say looked. And the same thing for F, for GH, so sniffed, left, washed, watched, kissed, danced, and fixed. Okay, can you hear the T sounds? Try pronouncing these. Remember the recording strategy. The recording strategy is a good way to practice these because then you can actually listen to yourself talking and hear the different pronunciations. And the last one is D without the E. So when you have an L in the end, like call, you're going to say called. N, like in clean, it's going to become cleaned. You're not going to say cleaned. You're not going to say called. You're going to say called, cleaned. You see? Just take the E out. Just like cross it out. And then you have offered. You see? No E. Offered. Damaged. Loved. So I know this is hard, especially for us that speak Portuguese, because we're not used to not pronouncing the vowel sounds. And that's actually the next common mistake for Brazilians, is adding too many vowels. So I know this is challenging, but the only way you learn how to pronounce this is by practicing. So I will say use the recording method, use the shadowing method of repeating after people, and practice. That's the only way you're going to get better at this. And recording yourself is a great strategy. I'm going to leave some videos on the description of this video after I'm done here. And you can watch more videos explaining this difference, giving you more practice, so you can practice yourself, okay? But also the websites that I gave you, you can find these as well in the pronunciation websites, manythings.org, Forvo, I think it's forvo.com. So go back to the list of resources and you'll be able to find it there. And going back to the extra vowel sounds in the end of words. So a lot of you tend to say, instead of saying and, you say ng. First, you're putting a G sound instead of a D sound. And so you're going to say ng, wiki, talky, thinky. And those are very, very normal mistakes until you get more confident. But I will advise you to practice these sounds. You're going to say and, weak. You see, it ends a lot before the vowel. Talk, think. It's just the K coming from the throat. And think. You're not going to say thinky, thinky. There's no vowel in the end. Think, think. Okay? That's why practicing pronunciation is something extremely important. Extremely, extremely important. Especially doing shadowing and recording. And at last, the most common thing that Brazilians actually do is this lack of confidence, guys. So saying I'm sorry, too many times, just apologizing for not speaking English, even though you do speak English. So you don't need to apologize. Don't apologize anymore. Don't apologize for your English. You're speaking a second language. That's not something that everybody does. In fact, I think the last census said that only 5% of Brazilians feel confident speaking English. They can actually say that they speak English. So let's change the tables. Let's actually become confident and realize that we're learning a second language. We don't have to, but we want to advance our careers. We want to speak to people. And that is pretty amazing. You don't have to apologize for that. You're pretty damn awesome for learning English. So feel more of like it's a privilege to learn English and you get to enjoy learning a language than apologizing for not knowing a second language, okay? And finally, hesitating. So many of you are speaking to me in English, you're speaking to the native speakers, and you're always like hesitating and doubting yourself. So you're speaking like, I'm talking? Is it talking? So do you see that? You're hesitating and kind of like asking me if that's the right thing. Don't worry about me, don't worry about making mistakes. Just say what you think it is. If it's wrong, I'll give you feedback. If I cannot understand you or the natives, they will tell you. So don't worry. And this is the end of the presentation. I want to go back to the screen. So this is the most important point, guys, for these mistakes, this hesitation. So instead of, asking the natives with like, think about the conversation, think about we're talking right here about what you did last weekend. So let's say, oh, you're talking to me about, oh, I went to the movies with my children and I bought some ice cream. There you go. I thought about what I'm saying, but I said it slowly and I didn't keep like kind of like doubting myself or asking if I'm right. And now I'm going to do the other way, the way that you guys usually do. So usually say something like, I went. I don't even know what you're talking about. And you're asking me if you're using the right verb. You understand that? So like you're saying, I went. I don't know. If you don't finish the sentence, I don't know if it's right or wrong. Okay? So if you're going like, I went to the movies. I went to the movies, and you're constantly like kind of like doubting yourself. And I just want you to think that even if you make a mistake, even if you say Saturday I go to the movies, you forgot to put the verb in the past. It's okay. I can still understand you. I can still understand you went to the movies on Saturday. So I'm just saying making a mistake is not a big deal, but hesitating and second guessing yourself, that makes the conversation really tiring, really, and tiring for you too, because you have to be like second guessing everything you say, and you don't need to. If something is wrong, we will correct you, okay? Or the native speakers or myself. So instead of being doubting or just like, asking us constantly if what you're saying is right, just relax and speak. I know by now you know that if the native speakers are not understanding you, they will let you know. They're going to say, what? I'm not sure I understand, and me as well. So that's the attitude that I want you to take from now on. Realize that you are a speaker of English and nothing else. You are a speaker of English. And a speaker of English does not apologize for not speaking English perfectly. And they don't hesitate. They try to say it in a different way, and they try to explaining things the best way they can. And just remember, guys, you don't have to speak English. Even if our world is globalized and you need English for your job, you don't have to, you speak one language, you speak Portuguese, and you learned as a child. You didn't choose to be born in Brazil. It just happens that you were born in Brazil, and it just happens that English is the global language today. But you learning English is a very nice accomplishment, and it's a great privilege. So just find the fun of like learning, a new way to connect with someone, learning a new way to say things. And just remember, it's not going to be Portuguese translated. I love saying that to my students. English or any other language is not Portuguese translated. People say things in different ways. People use sentences, expressions in different ways. They just say things in a different way. So the more you realize that you want to learn how people say things in a situation, the easier will be for you to speak like a native or to become more natural. Okay? So that's it. That's the message I wanted to give to you today. I'm going to leave some resources in the description of this video about past tense pronunciation, about irregular verbs, and memorizing them using flashcards. Flashcards, I think, are great, really great resource for memorizing those things that you just have to memorize. And the more you practice, the easier it will become. So I'm going to leave some of that. I'm going to leave some practice for consonant ending words like end, week, think, for you to practice. And I want you to do two things for me this week. Try to learn the flashcard apps, explore them if you're not sure. If you know how to use them, keep using them and use them to practice pronunciation. And try to use some of the strategies you learned in the course to learn to practice those common mistakes that I just shared with you. And I think if you do that, this week will be very productive. Try to focus on this one topic instead of going through, pronunciation, listening, reading about different topics. Try choosing one thing that I showed you today and focusing on that for this next week. And see, you're going to get to the end of the week feeling a lot more comfortable about these specific topic. So that's my suggestion for you today. This week, I'm going to be delivering your personalized program with the resources we used, the resources that you liked the most. So please, please, please finish the surveys so I can do the programs. Okay, finish the programs for you. And I hope to speak to some of you that I haven't spoken to yet. And I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday. Okay? Thanks for being here. And I will speak to you soon.